Okay, Matt, here's your voiceover from the swings we took the other day. And two, I want to make it real clear, very clear that, I know you and Kevin are working on some specific stuff, and I keep that in mind. Please keep it in mind yourself. When I tell you something, you have to keep it in the realm of what you guys are working on. So, for instance, you stand a little bit open to the target. That might be something you guys are working on. Okay, so that's just an example. I'm not trying to change you, not trying to be your coach. Um, we have an etiquette in our business, and we would never poach or get in between a player and his coach and compromise anything they were doing. These are just observations um, that I made. So just take all this with a grain of salt. Obviously, on the left, that's Martin Kaymer. The reason I chose him is he's got a very high fitness level. He's in great shape. He's got a high golf IQ. Um, he's a cutter of the ball that hits it fairly low for tour standards, but obviously high enough to be able to win a major championship and at one point be the number one player in the world. So first thing, I'm just going to stop him at position two or P2. That's when the club's parallel to the ground. You'll see that he's got what we call, I guess, a centered swing. He doesn't really move too much to the left like a stack and tilter would, but he definitely doesn't move into his right side, and he favors his left side. He basically swings around his left leg for the most part. In your case, you'll see you make a big move or a definite move into your right side before the club even really starts to move back. So you get into about an 80-20 right to left position, and then you start to take the club back. Okay? Not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's an observation. There's your P3, good 90-degree angle, and you won't see that with Kaymer. Now he'll close that gap as he transitions. What we in golfing machine terms, it's what we call, some people would call a float loader or maybe a snap loader. Doesn't really matter. He's kind of like what you would see with Sergio or Lucas Glover. Some of those guys, not quite as extreme. But you can see as he goes to the top, he's already into his left side, and you'll see him start to really use that lower body. He'll make a big lateral move, and then the hips will start to rotate. So he's got a really good sequence. Okay, so you can see you've got a lot of shoulder turn at P3, and probably all the shoulder turn that you'll have during the swing, and then you start to kind of raise the arms a little bit. You'll turn the shoulders some more, but I mean, really flexible, really strong, and I love it. Great position at the top. Um, Again, if you look, you can really see how Kaymer is into his left side. I mean, his lower body's going to start working toward the target almost before he drops the club. Okay, so you see him make a small lateral move, and then the hips will start rotating. Okay, similar to you, you've got further to go because you made that move into your right side, but really athletic. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to stop you at P6, and that's where the shaft is parallel to the ground on the way down. Okay, lots of lag, lots of power stored right there. Um, if you look at your right heel, it's a little bit off the ground. Kaymer's is maybe just barely, but his right knee is working really toward his left. Okay, yours is kind of going to right field just a little bit. A sign of what we call early extension. Not a big deal though. Okay, impact. Still got your angle stored. Hadn't thrown the club away. I mean, really good position, especially for a young guy. Like it a lot. And now you're going to see Kaymer really start to push those hips forward into right field. Okay. Now he's in my world, he's probably lost his angle a little sooner than I would like, but he's been doing it that way for a long time. So who am I to tell him to change? But what's really textbook here is how he uses his lower body. Now your lower body kind of stalls right here. See, it's really not moving. You're such a hard swinger. Your arms race past your lower body. So it makes it hard to hold those angles. Okay. You know, probably one thing, and I'm sure Kevin's told you this, you'd like to, once that the grip of the club is pointing to your belt buckle, you want to kind of keep those in sync. You want the rate of turn of your hips and keeping that club in front of you working at the same rate. If that makes sense. See right here, your hips aren't moving. They've stalled on you, and then they'll start to catch up about right here. You know, the good news here is you've got so much athleticism and speed. You're in good shape. I would highly recommend this. I mean, that's one thing you can have an advantage on a lot of these guys is your fitness. You know, you're in good shape, but just ramp that up. Ramp that up as much as you can. And you'll see Kaymer's hips. They're always moving just a little bit. It's very subtle. They're turning, turning, turning. And he keeps his legs under his hips and his hips under his torso. Now, although he loses the angle on his right wrist a little bit early for me, he keeps that right arm straight, tracking right up the plane. Yeah, I'd like to see, if you look at his hands and his arms and the club, they form like a lowercase y, the alphabet. I'd like to see him keep that just a little bit longer. Pretty good right here, but then about right there you can see from just into P8, like 7.5 to 8. I'd like to see him hold that angle just a little bit longer. You know, in your case, now you can see how your right wrist gets flat. You got a lot of really good angle in it right there, and obviously you're gonna lose it through the shot, but you want to hold that just a little bit longer in conjunction with the hip turn. You want that to happen at the same rate. If you swing so hard, those arms and hands and the club just race past your lower body. Might be why you hit a hook every now and then. But again, very athletic. Love how you get into your left side. Nice and tall. I mean, just tons of good stuff going on. Love it. Keep it up. I'm also going to send you a video from down the line. I'll probably use a different golfer.